Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So happy Friday. Today, of course, let's talk more about Bitcoin and how this massive Bitcoin indicator tells all. It really does. This is so simple, yet it goes ignored. So I'm going to talk about this and talk about everything else that's going on in the world today. So let's do this. Welcome, guys. The market bell has just rung. Perfect timing. And today, U.S. market looks okay. Looks green. Yesterday was pretty good. The day before was pretty good. In fact, a lot of Bitcoin-related stocks have been skyrocketing because of it. So that is good. And SBF was also found guilty of all 7 criminal counts yesterday. So we'll take that as a win as well. But today, what's going on? Well, I did see in the U.S., the payrolls increased by 150,000 in October, but that's 20,000 less than expected. And unemployment rate goes up by 0.1%. So now we're sitting at 3.9% rather than 3.8%. That's no good, even though it's just 0.1%. We're nearing that 4% mark, which most economists say is not a good point to be at, okay? This is something Powell has said. He believes unemployment will slowly rise up, and that's what's happening. But we don't really want it to see go up to, like, say, 4.5% or 5%, but it's starting to happen. You know, the softening that Powell wants to see is definitely happening, but hopefully it slows down, right? We don't want to see this accelerate into the end of the year and the beginning of next year. That would be really horrific, right? So we'll see. We'll see. But if it does accelerate, one good thing that could come of it is a faster schedule for rate cuts, because, you know, Powell has stopped raising the Fed fund rate, but at some point he has to cut. He wants to leave it elevated for a while, but yeah, if it shows that jobs, you know, unemployment is going up, jobs is starting going down, business is starting to close down, right? Because they can't borrow to operate, you know, he's going to have to cut that sooner than later. So that could be a good thing. That could be a good thing. But people out of work is a bad thing. Speaking of people out of work, Elon, this has nothing to do with crypto, but it's interesting. Elon says AI will eventually create a situation where no job is ever created. And he makes his argument about having a genie. Basically, he's like, screw the 3 wishes. If we had AI, you could get whatever you want done for you. And, you know, in the future, you would just work for pleasure. You wouldn't be working for money because everything would be done by AI. I don't know. And then he's like, the biggest problem would be to find a meaning in life when you don't have to do anything. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. You know, like, when everything is being done for you, either by AI or AI robots, then what's the point of living? Like, seriously, what life mission do you have, or goals do you have if everything's done for you? It does make you wonder. It does make you wonder. And even though we're probably a little bit far from that point, you know, he's debuting his XAI to a select group of people, and he believes it's the best that currently exists. Who's the select group? Don't know, but it's already coming. Tomorrow he will be releasing his AI algorithm or system bot, whatever it is. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's releasing it tomorrow. And maybe that AI is so smart, it's just go tell the select group of people, hey, if you want to build wealth, go buy Bitcoin. You know, who knows? Maybe it's that smart. But that's kind of a bleak future if you think about it, where humans have no purpose anymore. Anyways, moving past that, what else is there? You know, I mentioned about Bitcoin-related stocks. Block and Coinbase, they both reported and made enormous amount of money off of Bitcoin traders. Block reported 2.43 billion in Bitcoin revenue. A huge increase, obviously. People are getting excited again about Bitcoin and about crypto. So, of course, they're going to buy and the trading fees are going to go up. It's really that simple, right? If you look at their total revenue, 43% comes from Bitcoin, right? That's a huge, huge chunk. If Block or Cash App didn't allow Bitcoin trading, man, their revenue would be way, way under, right? But again, that's the power. That's the power of Bitcoin. It's why you want to get in early, because Block, or it used to be Square, right? They were one of the very first to allow Bitcoin trading at a time when it wasn't that readily available. And now it's paying off for them pretty nicely, right? So good for them. Coinbase is also up. Mining stocks like HODL and Mara, right? They are also up because, of course, the enthusiasm around Bitcoin is coming back. And, of course, they're the ones that's going to benefit the most because they hold the most Bitcoins. All these miners, they hold so many Bitcoins and they keep mining and then they keep holding, you know. It makes sense. It makes sense, right? It's like if you can invest in those oil companies before they got big, right? It's kind of like that. These Bitcoin mining companies will be among the biggest on the planet in 10 years, probably. Yeah, like 10 years, 15 years. They'll be among the biggest in the planet, right? So it makes sense to invest in them early before they become so huge. Same thing with Microstrategy and Michael Saylor. Of course, I showed this before, but I'll show it again to prove my point. Bitcoin strategy works. Since MicroStrategy's decision to basically go all in on Bitcoin, their stock is up, Bitcoin is up, and versus everything else that's up, not even comparable, right? That's what happens. Bitcoin tends to fall very fast in these cycles, yes, but also tends to come up really fast, faster than everything else out there. And in the end, when you add it all together, nothing comes close to the performance of Bitcoin. It's not even close. It's yeah, I don't know. It's light years away. Okay, so it is definitely the right strategy if you want to opt out of high inflation. You want to opt out of buying power being robbed of you. You want to opt out of just your government because you don't believe in them anymore. You opt into Bitcoin, right? It represents personal freedom. It represents store value. Represents, a hedge against everything. And it's just, it just makes sense, right? Kathy Wood agrees. Bitcoin over gold, hands down, not even a contest. Okay, it's a hedge against inflation and deflation, according to Kathy Wood. And it's not just her. Like, there's so many billionaires, right? Billionaires and CEO of companies, they're all saying the same thing now. They're all coming to light. They realize that they have ignored this thing for so long and it has hurt them financially. And now they are all doing 180, with the exception of a few, because they know Bitcoin. They now realize Bitcoin is the greatest thing ever. All right. Now, what's this massive indicator? This is really simple, and I've shown this before, but it's staggering. If you look at a HODL waves, you look at this, the number, okay, the number of Bitcoin being held is at an all-time high. 88.5%. 88.5% of the supply has not moved in 3 months, okay? Think about that. Close to 90% of all the Bitcoins out there in existence has not moved in 3 months. Now, if you expand that out to, say, a year, it drops down to about like 75%, but still, it's enormous amount. No one holding Bitcoin at this point really wants to sell. They're not taking profits at this point. They're only adding more to their portfolio. These people that have been holding for years upon years upon years, their conviction is only getting stronger, right? So, I mean, if you just think about it for a second, if you just try to compute, okay, like if this was any other asset on the planet, let's just equate this to gold. If you had 100% like proof that 90% of gold was being held and not being used and sold or being, you know, made into jewelry or anything like that, think about how high Bitcoin's price would, I mean, gold's price would go, right? It would be the same thing with oil. It would be the same thing with copper. It would be the same thing with any kind of commodity or any kind of precious metal. So just think about that for a second, right? We could actually see this. We could actually measure it with Bitcoin because it's digital, right? 90% has not moved for like basically 3 months. And it's over 75% if you go back a year. That's an enormous amount being held by the holders. And of course, that is the reason why Bitcoin is so strong, why it has decoupled away from US markets, and why it looks like it's going to break out. And that breakout is imminent because there's just so much buying power right now and so little supply to go around. It's just so simple if you think about it, right? It is really simple if you think about it. Going to the charts, these longer term charts, again, we could plot Bitcoin's movement out. And this is one of those times where, yeah, you look at it, well, if you're looking at this, it looks pretty darn good. This is on a monthly scale. You have certain times where it's great to be accumulating towards the bottom. And then you have times where you start reaping the rewards from the accumulation because Bitcoin starts going up and forms a new all-time high, right? We're at that point where, yeah, we're about to reap those rewards because Bitcoin is breaking out and heading higher towards its next high, right? That's why I believe 2024 will be so good and 2025 will be even better because it just moves according to plan and always has. And the halving event is less than 5 months away. And then afterwards, that's when it gets good. And a spot Bitcoin ETF approval is going to come sometime between now and March. There's just so much to look forward to. Okay. Short term, where can Bitcoin go? What can we expect? Right? We already hit this first target. We just hit it the other day at 36,000, right? We have to retest it again. But that's a level that, you know, there's a lot of like, you know, these levels, right? Like Fibonacci levels. This is a cipher pattern, but whatever the case, there's a lot of these patterns that Bitcoin tends to follow when it goes up or down, right? But right now we're obviously going to up phase. The next point after breaking through the 38.2% mark will be the 61.8 mark, which is around $48,000. Now, is that going to come by the end of this year? There's a lot of other things that I've shown that say that, yeah, we could end the year in 50, 53, you know. If we get a Bitcoin spot ETF approval sometime this month or next month, right, can we hit up to 40s and possibly 50,000 by the end of this year? It's certainly possible. We just don't know when it's going to be approved, but it's going to happen. And when it does, there's going to be so much enthusiasm and so much money flowing in right away, we will definitely pump up. And that's only the beginning. And then 2024 and 2025 is when those ETFs will really ramp up and the billions that are sitting on the sidelines will flow in and it'll become trillions. It won't even be billions. It'll be trillions flowing in, right? So that's what we have to look forward to. And on top of that, next week, I believe, the 9th, yes, next Thursday, we might also get a catalyst that could be huge for an entire industry. And that is Ripple settling with SEC. Or should I say the SEC settling with Ripple? Because it's 3-0 right now for Ripple and 0 out of 3 for the SEC. Everything they have thrown at Ripple has ended up in a massive loss. So there's just no way they could continue that lawsuit and claim that Ripple did anything wrong when, in fact, they have proven XRP is not a security. It is not illegal to sell XRP. And the founders of Ripple did nothing wrong. So what else are they going to hit Ripple with? Basically nothing. They're probably going to say, well, let's make a deal, right? And Brad is probably going to say, screw you, Gary. We're not going to make a deal. You just end your lawsuit. They're going to make it so that the SEC loses outright. That could be a huge catalyst too, not just for XRP, but for Bitcoin and entire crypto space. That's also coming up next week, right? So we got that to look forward to. And whenever that is settled, you bet your behind that Ripple is going to do an IPO. They have said this already. Brad Garlinghouse already said this many times. They're ready to do an IPO, and this is the perfect time, if you think about it, right? While the market's coming up, for them to do an IPO. I don't know when, they're going to actually do it, but if they said, if they plan it out for like, say, mid next year, that would be perfect timing. Ripple could be, I don't know what they would be at. I mean, their XRP is already making it $32 billion. They might, after they IPO, they may debut at a $100 billion market cap, or maybe even higher company if they do it. So that'd be good for them. Another catalyst to look forward to for next week. There's just so much. There's just so much going on. And then finally, two other news. Sandbox, okay, which is one of the bigger metaverse plays out there. They're coming out with a 100 million Sand Game Maker Fund. They're having some kind of conference in Hong Kong right now. We haven't heard a lot about Hong Kong. It's supposed to be the new Asian hub for Web3, right? A lot of exchanges still have not been approved to operate in Hong Kong. But again, I mention it because with this incoming parabolic run, Hong Kong's going to play a big role in that. There's a lot of citizens of Hong Kong, very rich and wealthy citizens, more importantly. And who knows if China just allows all of its citizens to just go start buying crypto through Hong Kong. I mean, we're talking about over 1 billion people, right? So that could also be a possibility in the next 2 years. So if you think about that, that's huge. That is huge. And then finally, I saw this. Coinbase effect revealed in the rise of Solana. So Coinbase effect is real. So apparently, Solana's huge rise right now was mostly caused by Coinbase. Not Coinbase themselves, but users on top of Coinbase buying Solana like crazy, right? So Coinbase definitely has a lot of power. They also have a lot of crypto. They have a lot of money. And Coinbase actually has decent telephone support now. I got my aunt into crypto. She uses Coinbase, and she locked herself out because she switched phones and her two-factor doesn't work. And I'm like, oh my God, that's going to take forever to solve, right? But you know what? Within like 15 minutes, someone picked up, there's an 800 number, someone picked up in Coinbase, and they were able to help us resolve this relatively quickly. It wasn't like before. First of all, Coinbase started with no phone number, and then they released phone numbers, but it would take like 2-3 hours before anyone answered. Now, these days, they're actually pretty good. Although I'm still banned from Coinbase, and I can't get an answer why. I was banned years ago for some reason. But I will say that I was quite impressed that someone actually picked up the phone and resolved this issue within a decent amount of time. It wasn't like you had to wait 3 hours. So good for Coinbase. But I still hear their system, their whole platform shuts down whenever there's a ton of volume. So they still need to fix that because people get really pissed off, especially now that they have futures trading, which, can be very volatile. They need to resolve that once and for all. Make sure that it never, ever goes down, no matter what the volume is. All right, that is pretty much it. Let's see. The U.S. market is still doing pretty good today. Pretty good. This weekend could be good. Bitcoin is, you know, like I find these tests of these levels, right, perfectly normal. In fact, you could argue it's just whales trying to liquidate people. It could be the exchanges liquidating. I've always had this theory. Who benefits the most from liquidations? Exchanges. Exchanges benefit the most. So it makes me wonder sometimes why we go through these periods to just liquidate the shorts and longs. Makes me wonder, because before I know FTX was doing it. SBF and FTX was definitely doing it. You could see their derivative volume so much higher than all their other exchanges. They were obviously doing something. But it makes me wonder if, you know, other exchanges still do it, because this fall from here down to here liquidated a ton of people, a ton of longs, right? And now we're kind of starting over again. So this weekend, you know, love to see Bitcoin bounce back above 35.1, right, and stay above. We need to consolidate up here a little bit before we could go to 37. But, you know, like this, there's no, absolutely zero reason for it. Zero reason for it, other than, yeah, the market need to cool off. But I still think that these exchanges, you know, they may be doing something behind the scenes. All right, let's do some Q&A. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm tired. I'm gonna go shop for a dining room table after this, in a very, very, very far place. Scrolling up here, let's see if I missed anything. Steven says SBF will have Caroline buy BTC for him while in prison. You know, like all the others that took a deal, like Caroline and Gary and all these other guys, they still have jail time, right? Just because they ratted SBF out doesn't mean that they don't serve at all, unless their deals were that good. I don't know what happens to the others of FTX. Maybe nothing. Maybe they didn't deserve anything because it was all SBF. I don't know. Axe and Hammer Fitness. I tried Gold Label. My God, in a good way or a bad way? Gold Label. Gold Label's not above Blue Label, right? It goes Red Label, then Black Label. Red Label is really bad. And then Black Label, and then you have Blue Label, and then what's above Blue Label? Is it Gold Label? When an ETF comes out, will Microstrategy dump? I don't think it'll dump. I do think you have a point that some people may sell off MSTR and buy ETFs, but you know, MicroStrategy as a company, they still produce other things like business intelligence software, and they're still a very profitable company. So some people may still want to hold them for that, and you don't have to get charged a fee. What do they call it? Like a maintenance fee. MicroStrategy won't charge that. ETF will. Johnny Wishbone says, all this selling and negative talk from other channels makes me think another pump is coming. Are other channels, again, I swear, I don't watch other channels. I only get sent clips from people. Our other channels are turning negative? Like, that makes no sense to me. Why would all these other channels start turning negative? I mean, yeah, we could retrace. You know, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin will just go skyrocket forever to $1 million. I mean, there'll be times where we retrace. and take a breather, and we may even come down a little bit. But, you know, there's no question in my mind that we're in the next bull run, and 2024 is going to get way better than right now. So I don't know. I don't get it. If there are other people that are still very negative, I don't quite get it. Blue Label is top. Yeah, Blue Label is really good. Is there? I didn't even know there's a Gold Label. Blue Label is just so smooth. It's just like blended whiskeys are just really smooth, and Blue Label is like really smooth. I'm sure there's even smoother whiskeys than Blue Label, but it's pretty good. Lazaro, I stayed late last night while altcoins were taking a beating, and DC another 2K into them. That's the right way to do it. Congratulations. I couldn't stay up that late. I can't stay up really late unless I'm like, you know, partying in Vegas or Miami. But at home, I have to sleep early because I have to get up for this stream. Red, black, double black, green, gold, then Blue Label. That's a lot. I had no idea there were so many. Why do they need a double black and then a green and a gold? You know, just go straight to a Blue Label. If you want to drink some good whiskey, go straight to a Blue Label. I know it's expensive, but you know, if you want to save money, then just go with black. It's fine. You don't need all these in-betweens. That's just too much, in my opinion. DXY. You know what? I have not checked DXY in a while. Let's see where it is. Oh, that's a pretty good drop. A whole $1 worth, I guess. That's good. You know, traditionally speaking, DXY and Bitcoin, they move in inverse directions, but these days, not so much. Bitcoin just does whatever it wants. But still, it's good to see DXY come down. You don't want the dollar to be so high. Someone says, getting liquidated is really humbling. Yeah, and it sucks. It does suck. But it makes you realize that you're not as smart as you think you are. I got liquidated yesterday. I told you guys. I got too greedy with Solana. I did, you know, I was making money left hand over fist with the 10x and then 20x. I closed those. And then I decided to do another 20x because I thought it was going to come back up. I got liquidated. It was a lot of money. So, yeah, you know, leverage. No, I truly believe no one truly wins with leverage. Eventually, it'll get you, and you just lose pretty much all of it, even with all the stop losses and stuff. It just makes you realize that you're not as smart as you think. But it's a fun way to degen a little bit, okay? If you wanted to have some fun, you got extra money, you're okay getting liquidated, even though it's not enjoyable. That's what leverage is. But I think leverage, really, who does leverage help, really? The exchanges collect more fees. That's really it. You know, in the end, that's who they benefit the most, the exchanges. Gold Label is much cheaper than Blue Label. Well, that may be why it doesn't taste nearly as good. Skip the scotch and drink bourbon instead. You know that there's a yeah, I have tried some bourbon before and I thought they were pretty good. I don't remember the name though. I tried something really stupidly expensive at one of those brilliant Brazilian steakhouses. I think it's a bourbon. No, it was a cognac. Like King Louis the Third or something. It's like $4,000 or $5,000 a bottle, and even just like a Like a shot is like $100 or something. That was really smooth. Yeah, that was a cognac, not a bourbon though. Did you know NMCT, they actually sell a can of Jack and Coke now? They actually have a can made for Jack and Coke Zero. I was really tempted to just buy that. You know, seriously, these guys think of everything. Louis the 13th or 16th? 13th. Louis the 13th is not a drink, it is experience. I went to a Brazilian steakhouse like by me. This was like maybe last year. And the GM there recognized me. So he's like, "Oh, take a shot of anything." So that's why I took it. And it was like, normally I would not be paying $100 for a shot, but it was nice. It was a good drink. Am I doing my Sunday walk? As long as it's not snowing. It got a little bit warmer again where I am. It got really cold. Now it's a little bit warmer, but still kind of cold. I will try to do so. If I can't walk outside during the winter, I'm just going to do it in my new house. I have a ton of stairs in my new house. I could just walk the stairs, or I could just be in my sports court walking around shooting. Please check Super Chat. I am looking Super Chats. Tales from the Crypt. What do you think about Uphold NFT being sent to its XRP holders today, including a ranking system? I have no thoughts about it. I could care less, to be honest. It's just a way for them to get people to buy XRP, I guess. Like, I guess, okay. I have no thoughts about it whatsoever. Oh, I see now. Len Gifted and then Papa Bear Studio says, can an XRP IPO subject them to TradeFi valuations? I don't even know what that means. Subject them to TradeFi valuations? I like what valuations? I don't even get it. By the way, if I miss a super chat and you're going to ask a question, then just re-ask the question that you put in the super chat instead of saying you missed a super chat, because a lot of them disappear. I can't scroll up infinitely. I can only scroll up so much before they disappear. So if I do miss it, just rewrite the question, not like, oh, you missed my super chat. Do you see Engine having a similar run as Solana last bull run? I don't know about the same kind of run because they're already pretty big. Solana came out of nowhere. Injective is doing very good right now, but I don't know if they're going to have the same kind of run. They're already, yeah, like I said, they're pretty big already. So they're definitely not going to have the same kind of run. But up 111% within the last 60 days, that's pretty darn good. And same thing with Thorchain, too. You can't ignore Thorchain. Up 107%, up 221% in 90 days. So that shows you DeFi and DeFi-related stuff is getting hot because that's what Thorchain is, really. It's just like one giant DeFi chain. Stock market valuations. Yeah, like, I don't know what TradeFi stock valuations are, but I could see Ripple easily being $100 billion market cap. Easily. It could be much higher than that, considering their tokens are already worth $32 billion. What are your thoughts on Atom and his tokenomics changing in the future? Atom 2 was not approved. Yeah, they need to change. I mean, they're going to trend up regardless, but they're weaker than others because their token economics kind of sucks. Quite honestly, that's why. Is it sucks. Tim, I appreciate that. You know, I like projects. There are certain projects I like, certain projects I don't. I make mistakes. Some projects turn out to be good. Sometimes they don't. They don't, and I make mistakes too. I don't try to pretend like I know everything. But sometimes, you know, sometimes I get it right. But I appreciate that. Yeah, I try not to overshill. But, you know, the reality is, as an influencer, anything you support, people will say, well, you're shilling that. You know, it's just like, it kind of sucks, right? No matter what you do, there's some kind of negative connotation to it. But right now, no one could accuse me of shilling Bitcoin. But I just believe in Bitcoin that much. So, but yeah, as the market comes up, a lot of these alts that I've been talking about, they will be coming out a big way. And there will be new alts that I haven't even explored yet or recognized yet that will be doing some crazy things in this next, you know, parabolic phase. So that's when it's going to be really good to pay attention to them. Frank, blink 2 times if you're talking with Mike was good. I can't say it was good or bad. Mike seems like a good guy, but he's only been with the project for 2 months. He has not resolved anything yet. Okay, so let's just say it was a neutral talk. We didn't really do anything and didn't really resolve anything other than he's going to be more vocal in terms of the marketing department, but that's really it. Ever heard of Sweatcoin? It's app to get coins by walking? No, but Amino Rewards, man, they debuted at 100 million market cap. That is a project that I'm advising for. They are going to kill it in this bull run, I think, led by a terrific leader that I've come to know for a while. Amino Rewards is going to do well. Thoughts on ICP for a bull run? Also, new narrative. I don't know any new narrative for ICP. ICP will also trend upwards. I'm pretty sure it will, but I've never been a fan. Never been a fan. You know who's an ICP bull? Blockchain Boy. He has not been producing a lot of videos for CRU Plus, but he told me last night he's going to stay on the schedule. He's going to commit, so let's see. Love to see him continue to produce videos. But I have these other ideas for CRU Plus, not only for the IFC, but also other ideas that I want to see get produced. So CryptosRus Plus, the channel, is going to be having a lot of great content in the future. Jamie, I don't think I could just have Brazilian steakhouse or go to a Brazilian steakhouse with a random fan that I don't know. But I appreciate the gesture. I used to go to that one all the time too when I was still working. Can you please leave the chat open after the show so we can chat? Yeah, but then, you know, the number of viewers, that means I can't end the stream. That means I would just have to leave and turn off the camera. And that'd just be weird. That'd just be weird. I don't know how these, like, other streamers do it. Like, maybe because they're playing a game or something. But, you know, like the streamers on Twitch or Kick, they'll be streaming for like 8 hours a day or like 4 hours. And they would literally like not talk and just like be looking at something or eating or doing something, and they would leave and then they come back and then like the chat is still going nuts. Like, I don't know why people actually stay in the chat for so long and just like, and then look at a guy eat or a girl eat and that's it. Like, I don't even know what's going on there. But if I get a huge Kick deal and they pay me millions to go stream on Kick, that may be what I have to do. I'll just leave the stream on for 8 hours and watch the money roll in. Just don't end the stream and unbox a new Lego in the background every single stream. I'll say it's done, and then I turn off the mic, and then I start building a Lego in the background. That actually is that's actually quite funny. You know, if you guys love Q&A sessions or just Q&A chat in general, I do have a Discord. It's a private Discord and Patreon. You have to pay to get in there, but I'm thinking maybe I could just do a public Telegram thing. So, and then, you know, you guys could be in there and I could be in there randomly to chat. But the problem with that is there's a lot of scammers that go in and like impersonators. So then like, that's why I've never had any public chats because of those reasons. I don't want a mod to moderate it too, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe that would be a good idea. Jamie, I can't recommend another restaurant. Well, you know what? No, I don't know another good restaurant in Schaumburg. Salim, what will 2024 narrative be? The halving event. What more do you want? Halving event. Also, Condana's thoughts. 0 thoughts on Condana. Will the IPO be good? Jan asked, will the IPO be good for Ripple? What would they use the money for? Marketing, enticing more dApps to come aboard. You know, that way, if they have stock they could sell rather than you know, coins, that'd be really good. Then they don't need to sell XRP anymore. They just sell stock. So that would be good. Nando, I did. That is not true. I chat with peasants all the time, although I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy those talks. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Will Solana push further? Yeah. Yeah, it will. It'll come back up. It got too heated. Okay, 104% in 60 days. 63% in the last 30 days. So it was even higher than that. And now it's taking a breather. But it's coming up so much because there's just a lot of people that really love Solana. That's really it. Yeah, I don't. IFC suggesting Vitalik. You know, first of all, I don't have a contact with Vitalik. And second of all, I don't think that he's gonna be fighting anyone. He may be sword fighting. He'll be good at that. But I don't know about real fighting. Speaking of Ferraris, I did get my car back from service yesterday, so they cleaned it up nicely. There was a layer of dust on top, and they cleaned that up. It looks really nice. It was nice to drive around. I have not driven it since my track day, which was like a few months ago. Yeah, Ferraris. I talked to my dealership, my salesperson a lot. He might actually go to the IFC event. In which case, a lot of you guys may want to talk to him. But Ferrari now accepts crypto. He just doesn't know how to do it yet. Like his dealership hasn't been informed how to take crypto. But I told him they better figure it out because in 2024 and 2025, there'll be a lot more crypto millionaires, and they're all gonna want to buy Ferraris with their crypto gains, right? So I'm telling him to make a big push. And he really doesn't understand Bitcoin, but he started asking me about it. So it's good. I think he's going to get a lot of sales in 2024 and 2025. Do you see, okay, last few questions. Do you see Helium making a comeback? Maybe, but I mean, I still like their premise, you know, a mesh network from miners. I still think that's a good idea. Whether or not it really catches on, I don't know. Because they went through a lot of controversy moving to Solana, and then I hear those miners have no support. A lot of people got pissed off, and of course they left because it was unprofitable. What's the best wallet to hold crypto long term? Like a hardware wallet, like Ledger, Treasure, Still, or you know, something like a free wallet like Trust Wallet. I saw an article about idea making private crypto network a token backed by BTC and USD used by only big companies. That already exists. There's a lot of private networks. You don't need a token. You could have a private network with a privatized token. You don't need that token to be backed by BTC or USD. I mean, you have to back it by something. I guess you could use USD, but there's a lot of projects that do that already. They're just not backed by Bitcoin, but that exists. Even JP Morgan's chain, you know, they're using their own coin in their own private network to send money around. So that's not really a new thing at all. Tom says, say hi to my 11-year-old son, Daniel. Congratulations, Daniel. Your dad convinced you to buy Bitcoin or learn about Bitcoin early. By the time you turn 18, you're going to be a wealthy man. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Happy Friday. We'll see what Bitcoin does this weekend. Okay, but like so many already know, Bitcoin is the future. It's still early. Still good time to be accumulating. And with 89% of the people holding the overall supply of Bitcoin, you know, there's only one way it could go, and that's upwards. All right, so smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and then Sunday, stay tuned for my Sunday walk, if I can walk. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Take care.